You just feel so lost in life. You don't know what you want, who you want to be. You're scrolling on your phone, seeing everyone else live their dream life. What have you ever been passionate about? How are you meant to figure out that? That's the $1 million question. You're not broken, you're just in the wrong room of life, and it's time to walk into another one. Okay, so here's the secret hot sauce. Trying new things. But wait, there's more. This comes with a lot of mental and psychological wires tied to it. So it might not be that simple. Think of life as a buffet. Give me a chance. So you can't know your favorite dish if you haven't sampled enough items. If you're stuck on what your passion is, you don't know what you want to do with your life, what excites you, then go out and try stuff. What that means is, all you've done so far is the equivalent of trying a broccoli dish and a chicken dish, and not loving either of them, and then saying, I have no idea what my favorite dish is. Well, there's still another 54 dishes you haven't tried. Obviously you don't know. Forget about picking an activity or an event that is something you really like the sound of. As long as it's something you don't already know for sure you hate or goes against any values, just go and try it. You never know how things can turn out. And through these opportunities, you never know who you might meet and what opportunities come from that. You can still starve in a buffet. If you don't get up and fill your plate up with food, if you just sit there, there's no waiters to bring things to you. Life is the same. The activities, the adventures, the opportunity, they're all there, but if you don't get up and go try them, you'll never know. Put yourself in situations where you wouldn't normally. Try new things that are out of your comfort zone, your familiar zone. I call it the familiar zone because this is what we're used to and what we know. Sometimes this familiar zone might even be something uncomfortable, but when things change out of the norm, we subconsciously self-sabotage ourselves, even when we're doing well, to bring us back to this familiar zone. And so on the front, you might think, no way I'd do that because I hate where I am now and it's so uncomfortable. But the point is that it's familiar. And what is familiar is safe to our brains and our survival. That's why I feel like it makes more sense to call it your familiar zone than a comfort zone. If you keep doing the same stuff, staying within your box, then you will never get to try all the other adventures of life and discover what crazy things are out there that you might love. Think of it like this. If you never tried chocolate at some point in your life, you would have no idea on what deliciousness you're missing out on. Don't let life just pass you by where you settle for what people or society have told you is your place. This is your path you're meant to take. There is no path you're meant to take. It's your own life path, and you get to choose where it goes and how wiggly it is. Not caring about what other people think, knowing what you want and going for it. You can't be a perfectionist to the point it paralyzes you either. Perfectionism, to an extent, becomes productive procrastination. Knowing when it's holding you back and you are letting life pass you by and not taking action. Perfectionism can sometimes be worse than procrastination, because with procrastination, at least you know you're avoiding the work. But with perfectionism, you think it's a quirk of yours. You think you're just doing things to the highest of standards. But really, you might just be scared and it's your way of avoiding what you don't even realize that you're avoiding. Instead, you think you're actually making progress and doing things which is actually so much worse. Comparing ourselves with those around us, and especially nowadays comparing ourselves to all the people we come across on social media, is also another great thing. Constantly looking at people who have it all, or seem like they do, and then looking at your own life and knowing you have to go through all these ugly, hard struggles in this messy life that is nowhere near what you want, can make it so much harder. It makes you want to quit, because you feel hopeless, like there's no chance. The more social media you consume and look at other people, the more upward comparison there is. It's hard to notice it when you're in the thick of it, but if you constantly compare yourself to people who are ahead, then yeah, it's gonna be very difficult, and it's gonna feel like everyone is ahead of you and you're a big fat failure, because those are the only people that are registering in your brain. But what about all those people who are doing worse than you? What about the person you were 2 years ago? Have you improved since then? Are you in some ways the person you were looking at 2 years ago, and you have some of those qualities now, but you can't see that because you're constantly looking at someone who's above you. And what damage is that comparison doing to you? It's easy to make comparisons and have these thoughts and say it to ourselves, even just as a passing comment, but actually take a moment and look at what damage is that causing to you. Most people are scared of looking dumb or making the wrong choice, but making the wrong choice is how you find the right one. If you don't try new flavors, take a risk, you can't find the dishes that really wow you. The problem with trying new things is the possibility of looking stupid, but that's the price of entry. If you want to try something new, you have to pay the price that you mess up and you might look stupid. But now you're in the game. Now you can learn how to really do it properly and you can learn and improve. If you never pay the price of entry, you can never hope to have a chance to win the game you never play. Novelty actually stimulates dopamine release, which improves motivation and learning. So as well as trying something new, which is fun in and of itself, your brain is getting some positive signals too. So if you're still eating life's plain toast, maybe it's time to check out the spicy curry section. If nothing changes in the next 5 years, will you be happy with where you are? Our routines are familiar, people. The default work we do. It's all part of our systems we build. Even if you have no system, that lack of system is your system. And these systems are your comfort zone because it's what's familiar. Remember the familiar zone? If you want things to change, you have to get up and try new things. Break the cycle. Expose yourself to new situations and people. And that's how new paths are formed. There is no correct path in life. Everyone's life started on a blank slate. You get to draw the roads, the paths, how windy they are, how long they are. You don't need to follow other people's maps. Even if it's the map of everyone around you, doesn't mean yours has to look like theirs. At the end of the day, you're going to be the one living this life. You're going to be the one with yourself the entire time. So you might as well pave the path that you want to drive down. At the end of the day, you're going to live this life and then die. And then after around 3 generations, you're basically forgotten. So you might as well live the life you want. Your enemy might be procrastination in disguise. You might feel like you know exactly what you want to do with your life, but you just need to figure this one thing out. Plan it, how you go about it, and then you'll start. That's the trap. You might be thinking, I know I want to start a business, but I need to first read about it, watch all the YouTube videos on it, and really understand it before I begin. Because educating yourself and learning sounds like the right thing to do, and the responsible thing to do. But there is such a thing as being too ready. If you spend too much time researching and learning, you end up in analysis paralysis where you never end up taking action. You need to find that balance of giving yourself a reasonable amount of time to dive into the learning, to get an idea of the full picture, then dive into what the first few steps are so you know what's coming and you can prepare a rough outlook plan. But then there is a time when you need to stop, overcome the fear that is holding you back, and actually take action. That's the scary first step, because you don't really know what you're doing. It might be something you don't want to do, but you know you need to get to where you want to be. And you might find you're telling yourself you'll just do a little more reading and make sure you're super sure before you start. That's the fear controlling you. Maybe you're not stuck in analysis paralysis. Maybe you're already so scared of starting after watching all those people on social media doing so many things, living their dream life, getting the things they want, achieving goals and hitting milestones, and you feel way too scared to try now. It's good to be aware of that your mind is doing this without you even realizing it. If you can, maybe it's easier to just stop watching that kind of content completely and just focus on taking action and get yourself busy with the things you need to do to build your life in the way you want. Be too busy to be thinking about failure and what other people think and just get on with it. Why does it have to be more complicated than that? Remember, you can't compare your day 1 behind the scenes to someone else's day 490 of public success. It's an unfair comparison. While it's great to watch those motivational talks, and it's definitely feel-good vibes and rouse you up and gets you feeling all ready to take action, what you really need to do is do something. So if you're stuck and you have no idea what your passion is, you just know what you're doing now, the life you're living right now, is not the life that you want. Then get out there. This week, find an event or something to go to where you can try something new. Don't overthink it. This won't be the final destination. It's just step 1. As long as it's not something you truly hate or goes against your morals, just do it. Don't give yourself a chance to overthink it, get nervous and chicken out. Just book the thing, show up, and make the most of it. If you end up hating it, at least you tried and you have data now. Then you can go on and try something else. That's data collected. Nothing's wasted. And if you know what you want but you're not happy with the progress you're making, take today or sometime in the evening at some point and make a rough plan. Use ChatGPT to help. What are the steps you need to take, and what is the rough goal you want to aim for now? I say rough goal because as you move and things happen, the goal is likely to change, so we don't need to fixate on that for now. Then, figure out what you need to achieve by the end of the month, and break that down into your weekly actions and just get started. Time block your calendar to give you focused work sessions where you're just doing the thing, not learning about the thing, not planning the thing, but actually doing the task you need to do to move things forward. Remember this, if someone looked at your life on mute, would your actions show them you're serious about your goals? And if not, really think about what that means. Are the actions you're taking now and being consistent with going to get you to where you want to be 3 to 5 years later? I hope you got some value from this, and until next time, be intentional, protect your peace, and always show up for you. Have a wonderful day.